Part four, and I've already lost my mind just at the sheer idiocy of this email that Michelle sent to me and the investors. It's just, I feel like I lose more IQ points every time I read it. It's AI generated because this is not how he talks. And the AI is only going to regurgitate stuff based on the information that it's fed, and clearly it's not. It's an untrained AI too. Understand that it's just a generic AI. It's not. It's not trained on Costa Rica, law, or law in general, or real estate, or anything. It doesn't. It's useless in this regard. So, but he can't turn loose of that. But I think there's human involvement too. I think there's people based on my interactions with the ho ho ho. Lord have mercy. That there's a mental deficiency, and I don't mean Santa Claus when I say ho 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 either. It's a individual who's inserted itself. I think it's a girl. I think it's a female. Can't tell by looking, but it has inserted itself into the situation and created some fine right havoc. And for him, not for me. I was toying with her late into the night last night, trying to get her to divulge more, and she did. I learned a few things. But anyway, let me just duck out and read this to you, and then I'll explain why this is so insane. It's just how do you... Let me read it. Regarding the project's financial aspects, the current monthly interest rate of 0.6%, which amounts to, and I redacted information because it's not relevant. According to the information I have, Ms. K received a U.S. disability pension of about blah, blah, blah per month, which would comfortably cover this minimum, that's the interest payments, if the project truly is your priority. Should you be unable and unwilling to cover this basic amount, it casts serious doubt of your capacity to sustain a much larger animal rescue center with tourist activities. Such a project requires stable funding to cover operations, staffing, veterinary care, insurance, and marketing. Without a demonstrated commitment to these financial obligations, you are not in a position to undertake such a demanding venture. There's a term for that. Number one, it's gaslighting. It's clear gaslighting. This is one of the most beautiful and brilliant examples of the type of gaslighting that he has done to me for the entire duration of our relationship. This is pure classic gaslighting, and it's based on stuff that's not true, but it's also like a smoke and mirrors kind of thing, because he's not understanding or willing to entertain the reality that there are two different entities. There's a for-profit business, which is the SRL that he's part of, and then there is a non-profit that only I have access to. He's not on that. But the part is, look at this absolute in-your-face, bold, brazen denial that he, as a 50% partner of the SRL, is obligated to pay 50% of that interest every month. And he hasn't paid a dime of that interest since the SRL has been an entity. That debt is in the half of that he owes is in the legal documents that I filed today. What balls on this wanker to suggest that I use my SSDI to pay 100% of something that he owns 50% of? Is his brain broken? I mean, is it substance abuse? Is it really at this point, after looking at the ho ho ho? She looks like somebody who uses who out of a little pipe-like object. But he doesn't understand clearly that the nonprofit is going to be the beneficiary of some donations, because the nonprofit at this time is not linked in any way with this land or this SRL. There is no correlation. and investors, and may still be able to, and probably still will be able to, raise donations now that the situation is dire, now that we're being evicted from our farm and we have to find a new place to live. That's that's a even more compelling reason for people to to step in and help. And I'm not talking about you guys out there. I'm talking about serious donors in positions at which they need tax write-offs. So it's a symbiotic relationship between they have a need and we have a need, and it's just wonderful. And we'll, and of course I'll get to slap their brands and their logos all over everything we do, which is awesome. This supported by, and I know the name of the people who are looking to donate, but I'm not going to say that. But anyway, that money is not coming back. If there's no lease agreement on this property and it's not all good and legal, that amount of money ain't coming onto this SRL, and he ain't gonna see a dime of it. And he ain't gonna see a dime of it anyway, because we're gonna foreclose. I mean, that's essentially what we're looking at is we're gonna end up having to foreclose, because I shouldn't have to pay 100% of something he owns 50% of. And he showed no interest in the administration of the SRL. He showed no interest in financially investing what he is obligated to for the upkeep and maintenance and administration of the SRL. So I'm just letting it go. I'm not going to do this. We're not doing this. I'm not his free ride anymore. And he fails to understand. He goes on in this email. There's something about an amount of money that he spent for us to live on. Honey, I've been supporting us on our SSDI since day one. Has he contributed? Yeah, he certainly has. And the problem is not that I've ever said that he wasn't contributed. He contributed his whole savings away because the boy won't work. He won't get a job and he won't work. He contributed his entire savings over the course of 5 years for us trying to live and do the things that we needed to do. But I contributed 100% of my SSDI every month to our basic needs, to pay in rent, to pay in food, to pay in... I mean, I don't have anything left to show for those years either, because 100% was spent to support his butt.